It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
An 84-year-old woman walking the dog near a pond in Florida. What could possibly go wrong?
I can see it.
Yep. We've talked about it. She walked right past the beware of alligator signs. Well, alligator jumps out of the pond. It was 7 feet 3 inches.
Oh, no.
Chomped her leg. The woman also sustained injuries to her arms and wrist. Hospitalized. She was someone who is, according to authorities, her condition unknown, but she sustained significant injuries after this bite from this alligator. There she is.
Del Bopple's evening dog walk Thursday was the scariest she's had.
All of a sudden, I had a premonition. I'm telling you. It was like, uh-oh.
That gut feeling was a 7-foot gator about to lunge right at her.
That alligator took off like 35 miles an hour, and I'm not joking.
Bopple says she got close to the pond at Julia Mobile Home Park off Slater Road. She saw Gator's eyes looking back at her. Before she could think of anything else, she tossed her small Shih Tzu named Queen up in the air. Then the gator chomped.
She took a chunk out of me.
After a few good hits, that gator did scurry away, but not until it took a chunk out of her leg and fingers.
So who would you say first? If it was the kid or the gator, who are you?
Probably the dog.
Bopple says she's complained about the big gators to her community. They have not reached out to her and also have not returned my calls.
Wow.
They're eating the dogs.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
In this case, they're eating the lady. Wow.
It's the, right, it is the...
What can you tell us about the scene?
It looks like she's missing a finger and a piece of her leg, Larry.
What can you tell us about the scene?
That finger will grow back on it.
When she said I have a premonition, I bet you can feel them watching you. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, she said she saw the two eyes. And then
That's
she
so
threw
scary.
the dog, which is really cool. By the way, for 84, she's, I got to say, she seemed okay, meaning she seemed all there and she had a plan, which was to throw the dog far away so it could run away while the gator chomped her. But nonetheless,
she had a correct response. She thought to herself, "Uh-oh." That was like the best part of the whole.
Yeah, the uh-oh is probably the response we would all have. A Florida man is arrested, meantime, on the other side of town for keeping 2 alligators in his backyard pool.
What?
Yeah. Central Florida is where this guy lived, Marion County. This guy's arrested for keeping alligators on his property. The Fish and Wildlife people got a call to go to the home of this guy who at first denied having alligators.
Gator? What gator?
Man, that's a thin story when you've got the thing swimming around.
I didn't have a gator.
Then admitted there were 2 alligators in his pool. Oh, those alligators. Yes, I do. I have 2. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. During the investigation, officers who discovered a recently killed alligator on the property, along with several freshwater slider turtles. So this guy is borderline hoarder, twisted dude. He was arrested for 2 counts of possession of an alligator, 1 count of unlawful take, and 1 count of unlawful take of slider turtles. He is currently in custody. And speaking of stealing things, this isn't a reptile, but this Florida man is accused of stealing Spanish treasure coins that are worth over $50,000.
If you're going to steal something, I mean, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's a strong plan rather than, having to go find them in some shipwreck offshore. I mean, just steal them.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
The problem is you probably can't unload those very easily. But, all right.
As is per usual, they don't think about the unloading. They only think about the jacking of the whatever it might be. In this case, it's Spanish gold coins. They're worth more than $50,000. He stole them from a Florida resident. There he is. I don't know. He kind of looks okay with life. He's 35 years old. Keontae Rynek Ocean Smith, charged with grand theft and dealing in stolen property. We are looking at his booking photo. That's why I said he kind of looks okay with things. I'm going to give him a 7.
Kind of looks more like a passport photo than a booking photo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He looks like, can you...
I'll also go for 7. Yeah.
All right, 7 looks like it. He's getting a lot of 5s and 6s in the chat right now.
This is a very classic caper. I feel like people have been doing this for hundreds, if not thousands of years, trying to steal treasure. So it's like a nice
you're right. The treasure steal is sort of tried and true. He has agreed to pay for these treasure coins that he jacked. He's going to pay $53,750 to cover the treasure coins being sold by a resident of Bay Point in the Lower Keys. You know the Florida area well. Those who do will appreciate that.
Lots of commenters saying that he should have a pirate hat along with his...
should. That is such a good call. Absolutely should have a pirate hat. There was an agreement to a wire transfer in August, just so if you're curious, and no money was ever transferred. They agreed to this wire transfer. There appeared to be a bank transfer because there was one of those photos. Let me show you. I sent it here. I screenshotted it. But, of course, it's all phonied up. The victim then learned that he, Smith, who you're seeing here, used a fake name during the sale negotiations, gave him a fake bank account and tracking trace number. It's all fake, of course, and a fake credit card number. And warrants then later obtained for Smith's arrest, and he was booked into jail. And so that's how the whole thing went down. Ultimately, he is going to have to pay it all back. So
Good day, sir.
Exactly. The Florida man finally hiding in the attic discovers that's not the best place to hide from police officers and the law. So you think the attic feels so good as a hiding place until it doesn't feel so good. Guy attempting to evade arrest, hiding in the attic of his Palm Coast home. Where could he be? Michael Allison, there he is. He was wanted on a felony violation of probation warrant and unlawful possession of a controlled substance and driving without a suspended license. That is the deadly trio. And
he looks
congratulations.
pretty happy.
Yeah. He seems very happy. Seems a little underslept.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, which I can understand. I have an underslept look typically. Wes says he kind of cute. Give him a 9. Teacher Lori gives him an 8. Ren with an 8. I think he is a cute guy, young guy. What are you going to give him, Kim?
I'm going to give him a 7.5.
All right. There it is,
Yeah.
7.5. Deputies said they saw him go into the house on Piedmont Drive, knocked on the door and on the windows. They announced themselves and why they were at his house. And after knocking multiple times, the sheriff's office said deputies entered the home in search of this guy. Well, they look around, and deputies see that he's hiding in the attic. And again, it's a
wild idea. It just might work.
Well, it's not even that wild an idea, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of like a pretty, but where are you going to hide? So they asked him to come down, and eventually did come down 30 minutes later. And he was extremely dehydrated, they said. 37 years old, treated at a hospital for dehydration, and then taken to county jail.
Good day, sir.
Right, in the end, the law always wins. And so, my friends, we have reached a decision point. I will remind you of the stories you've just heard, and you must decide on. We don't want to do it. It's in the bylaws of the show to decide on a favorite. The 7-foot alligator biting the elderly woman. She was walking her dog. She tosses the dog, but gets chomped, leg and hand, by the 7-foot alligator. The Florida guy who was keeping 2 alligators in his backyard pool, other bad stuff with reptiles found on his property, he was arrested. The Florida guy accused of stealing Spanish treasure coins in an interesting and detailed scheme. He got away with $50,000 worth, but ultimately nabbed and will have to pay the whole thing back. And finally, the Florida guy hiding from the authorities. He had warrants out for all of these different things, and violation of probation is what brought police officers and authorities to his door. Ultimately, he hid in a place no one would ever think of looking until they'd spent about 5 minutes looking everywhere else, and then they'd look, of course, in the attic, and he was arrested. We must pick a favorite, and we'll start with you, Kim. What do you think?
I have to go with, I think it's Our Lady who was, smartly threw the dog and got chomped in the leg. Alligator old lady.
Yeah, alligator old lady. Albert, what leads in the chat? What was the vote?
I titled it Gator, but a lot of better options in the chat. They're calling her Granny Gator. So Granny Gator.
Granny Gator. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Granny
strong.
Gator's up 71%. It's running away with the vote.
Wow.
It's easy to go there. I'm going to go with my sports side of the story. The Spanish treasure, a true Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Okay.
Oh, very good, Albert.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't even
Tampa
think
Bay
of that.
Buccaneer. I love the classic caper. So
for me, I go right with the mainstream. Lady walking her dog past a sign that says, "Watch out for alligators." She takes her and her little dog close to the pond and then realizes that she's going to get chomped. It's a story as old as time, and I go with that.
Also had the sunglasses on in the hospital. Very strong.
Yes, you're right. Sunglasses in the hospital. Very, very strong. Good point. Thank you all for joining us for this Friday's edition of Friday Fabulous Florida.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.